Let's start with some breaking news out of Alaska. 3 U.S. soldier members are dead after a U.S. Army helicopter crashed in Alaska. 1 other soldier is hurt. This was a mid-air crash. It happened as the Apache choppers were returning from a training flight near Healy, Alaska. It's about 250 miles north of Anchorage. The Army says the names of the soldiers will not be released until the family is notified. The cause of the collision also under investigation at this hour. This crash comes after a crash in February, also in Alaska, involving an Apache chopper. 2 soldiers were hurt at that time. And also weeks after a routine training crash killed 9 people in Kentucky. That was last month. That training mission crash involved Black Hawk helicopters. I want to bring in Lieutenant General Richard Newton, former U.S. Air Force Assistant Vice Chief of Staff and NewsNation senior national security contributor. This is a tragic day yet again for members of our U.S. military in a training exercise. What are you hearing from your sources about what happened in Alaska?
Well, a very sober morning for Americans to be waking up to. These 3 soldiers who were killed and another injured in that helicopter crash just south of Fort Wainwright. What I'm hearing is they're right now they've got obviously on scene. The 4th soldier is at a hospital in Fairbanks, Alaska. Of course, our thoughts and prayers go to the family members. The Fort Wainwright is a very tight Army community, about 7,500 soldiers. And so first and foremost, focus on that 4th soldier and get him treated. But also, I guarantee you right now, there are safety investigators on scene at the crash site. The Army is looking at this as I speak in terms of trying to figure out what the root cause is. I've flown in that area. It's very tough terrain. It's mountainous. The weather can be a challenge, and frankly, even birds could be a challenge there. But nonetheless, how our men and women train, and here in Alaska as well, as they train the way we're going to fight. And so, again, it's just another sobering morning to remind American people that our freedom is not free.
And is it a deadly coincidence that we have seen several recent also deadly crashes in training exercises in both Alaska and the Kentucky-Tennessee line recently?
Well, we don't know that. Those are ongoing safety investigation boards. There's also another board that, and I've been a part of both the safety investigation board, which is to look at the root cause, as well as the accident investigation board to understand a broader, cause of the accident as well. And so I'm not ready yet to make a comment on whether we can knit those together, but I can tell you the AH-64 helicopter, these 2 helicopters that crashed, is a very trustworthy and a most reliable aircraft, but it has had some safety challenges. As you alluded to back in February, there were 2 soldiers killed, or not killed, but injured in an accident just south of that area as well. So again, we'll find out more. My experience also tells me, Marni, that by and large, and I have no insight in terms of this accident, how it occurred, but you'll find that a vast majority of accidents across the Army, but also the military services, is somewhat due to human error. That can be a cause. It could also be weather related. It could also be mechanical failure and so forth. We just don't know right now, but the Army is going to get to the bottom of it and understand what the root cause is. And we'll also, to take your question and point, is the fact that we'll look at other accidents. Most recently, as you mentioned, the Apache there in Alaska a couple months or so ago, as well as the Black Hawks, those helicopters that killed 9 soldiers.
And what type of supervision is in place during these training exercises?
Very, very exquisite command and control and training supervision. These soldiers, I'm sure, would mission plan their exercise and their training and their sorties for that day. Then they go out and they fly the mission. And then once you get back to base, you also debrief the mission, where you determine what were some lessons learned, as well as what were some good things that occurred during it. And so it's a very disciplined process, especially for these soldiers and for this mission, because Alaska is, again, we've got a large contingent of both Air Force and United States Army military capabilities up there, to include the F-22 stealth fighter and the F-35 stealth fighter, as well as the 11th Airborne Division. So it's quite a combat-focused organization, and they are very stringent in terms of how they organize, train, equip, and get prepared for missions such as these soldiers were conducting.
Finally, how soon and how transparent do you expect the military to be about the investigation into these accidents?
Well, the Safety Investigation Board is first and foremost, again, that is very focused on understanding what the root cause is, and that will stay inside and appropriately so the channels of the United States Army in order to really understand what occurred, and that's to really compel others who've been involved with the situation to come forward and provide as much evidence to get down to what the root cause is, prevent future accidents. You'll see later on in a more public forma would be what we call the Accident Investigation Board, and that could take months, if not a year or so, to understand. And that's how the public will be informed in terms of what caused this accident and other accidents that occur.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.